Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the View from the Sideline podcast. I'm Chris and Rich is here as well.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Good. So Rich, what is happening this week?
So, this week, episode 16. So we've got the weekly teaser where I will be testing your knowledge. See if you get one right this week. I think I've taken a 3-1 lead, Chris. So it's about time you were.
I felt like a bit of a dig then.
It was. I've got to bask in the glory of being the leader in the teaser challenge. So I've given you a bit of an easy one because I feel a little bit sorry for you this week. So if you get it wrong, it's going to be very embarrassing. We've got the Premier League review. We've got the Championship review and FA Cup. No League One or League Two games over the weekend due to the FA Cup. So we'll be doing a summary of that. We've got our special topic this week, which is highlights from the third round draw. So we'll be picking some games out to watch for the third round from the draw that was made on Monday. We've got a review of last weekend's predictions, and we've actually got a midweek predictions for the games that are running at the moment. So the first two were last night, and the rest are being played now. So then we'll do the answer to the teaser, and then we'll let you know what's coming up next week. But we'll also keep you informed about the games that are going on tonight. So there's 7 games in the Premier League tonight. 4 of them are at half time and the others are just coming up to half time. So I'll launch straight into the teaser, Chris.
Yep.
So fairly straightforward this week. Can you tell me who was the first foreign manager to win the FA Cup? That is this week's teaser.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know this. So this is quite.
There you go.
An easy one. Yeah. Wow.
And it wasn't discussed beforehand.
Yeah.
I hope you get this right.
Well, yeah.
I hope you get this. This is going to be. Yeah, this is going to be very embarrassing if you don't.
Oh, now I'm really doubting myself. Now you've said that.
Wow.
I'm almost scared now to say it. Never mind.
Well, we'll wait to the end because if you do get it wrong, and the embarrassment will be slightly shorter lived then.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Well, we'll move on to the Premier League review, and the first game up was the Cardiff Wolves game, which was played on last Friday night. It's just one of those. I think we've said this for the last sort of like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, what is happening with Wolves at the moment? You know, they did take the lead obviously on Friday, but you know they just seem to be plummeting down the table at the moment. And after such a good start as well, it just seems quite strange, really.
Well, it's no winning 6 for them now. After Friday night's result, and I was a bit surprised by it, to be honest. I don't want to do Cardiff a disservice at all because I do like Cardiff, but I really did think, and especially when they went 1-0 up, I thought it would be the game to sort of give Wolves a bit of a kickstart again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it just didn't, and I think the way Cardiff have been playing, I mean, they're not great at the back. I mean, I think they're better going forward than they are at defending. But I was just really surprised. But I mean, a great win for Cardiff, and their sort of mini revival is continuing. I think it takes them out of the relegation zone. If I'm right.
Yeah.
Right in saying that, but I always used to enjoy. Well, not that I don't now, but I always used to think that Wolves were very good going forward. They always looked like they had a goal in them. The players they bought in the summer, a very attacking team, played good football, and they just seem to be going for a really bad run of form at the moment.
Hoylett's goal was really good. I think we were quite spoilt this weekend on goals as well because there were some really good ones this weekend. But his was a pick of the bunch, I would say. But one quick last thing on Cardiff.
It did win. His goal won Match of the Day's Goal of the Month for November.
Wow.
Just to let you know.
Just quickly as well on Neil Warnock. His interviews after games, he's always so so happy and even if they've lost, he's always finding a positive out of the game. I think he knows the games that they're probably going to lose this season, and I think against Wolves, I think he probably thought that they might have struggled. So I think he'll be really happy with that win on his day before his birthday as well. I see he's only the fourth manager to manage a Premier League game over the age of 70. So
it's a good achievement. Plus, last year I think the Cardiff Wolves game was a bit tasty last season in the Championship. I think it's when one of them missed 2 penalties or something in the last 5 minutes, didn't they? And there was a bit of aggro, but a bit of argy-bargy between the two managers. But yeah, good win for Cardiff.
Yeah,
good win.
So the Palace Burnley game, I thought this one was actually going to be a draw, to be honest with you. I know Burnley have been shipping goals in, but Palace at the same time don't tend to score many goals at home. But a strange kind of first goal is one of those where it's almost a cross and it's just gone straight through everyone. And by the time Hart's seen it, it's already in. But Hart actually made a few good saves, I thought, before it was 1-0. And there was one player in particular for Palace I quite liked, that Max Meyer. I think he plays in midfield, but he was causing quite a few problems for Burnley, and Joe Hart had to make a couple of good saves from his shots. But what a goal from Townsend!
But two completely different types of goals. I think the first one there was a bit of an element of fortune to it.
Yeah.
But the second one, the second goal was just.
You don't save those, do you?
No, but that's what he's capable of. I think that is exactly what Andros Townsend's capable of. When he was at Spurs and he broke into the England squad, I think he scored on his England debut.
He did,
and that was a great goal. But with him and Zaha up front, I mean, they could either win 3 or 4-0 and both of them sort of have score worldies, or they'll lose 1-0 and both of them don't really do anything. But I think Palace will be very pleased with 3 points there and a clean sheet as well. It sort of takes them a couple of points clear of the relegation zone, which is a good thing. But I'm not sure on Burnley. I'm not sure what's happened to them this season. They just
throughout the game.
At the half time tonight, Burnley it's 0-0 against Liverpool at Turf Moor, but they've got a goal difference of something like -16. It's nearly two goals a game they're conceding, which you don't really you normally associate Burnley with being quite tight at the back, but deserved win for Palace, I would say. Good win.
Just a quick note on Zaha as well. I was thinking whilst that game was on, he's obviously playing well for Palace, but if you did see him move in January, do you think the so-called top 6 would buy him? And if they did, do you think he would actually get into their starting 11, or would you see him maybe going abroad and trying to do something outside of England?
The only 2 top 6 sides I could realistically see him go into, because I don't think he'd go back to United. I think it would be our clubs, Chris. I think it'd be Spurs or Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think they're the only. I can't see him going to Liverpool. I certainly can't see him going to City, and I don't think he's an Arsenal type player. To be honest, I think it would be Spurs or Chelsea that he'd go to. But it depends. It depends how much money they want from him. I think Spurs and Chelsea would be okay without him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So maybe he would go abroad, but I can't see him going to any of the big clubs.
No, that's what I was thinking. Just who actually would buy him, and would he actually go outside of England? They're probably
going to want upwards of 60
want,
million.
That's exactly
I would
what
say, and especially in January, I think they'd want a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
And it just depends who's willing to pay it.
Yeah. Anyway, the Huddersfield Brighton game. Unfortunately, this is a case of where a red card completely changes the game and you end up losing the game. The red card itself, I've seen it 10, 15 times, and I can't make up my mind. His foot is high. He catches him slightly on the shin, but do you think it was a red card?
I think by the laws of the game, it was a red card.
He's gone. Oh yeah, he's gone over the ball, hasn't he? On with
he
studs
has.
showing.
He has. It's a typical striker's challenge. I think strikers should be banned from tackling because it just ends like that. But on the flip side, I would say you probably see maybe one, maybe even two challenges a week in the Premier League that you could probably say are similar to that, and unpunished, or the ref gives a yellow. So I can see both sides of the coin, but I think with the benefit of replays, and like you say, seeing it 10, 15 times, I don't think it makes it any clearer, but I think I can see why he sent him off. Is what I would say. I can see why he did what he did.
So the Duffy goal came from, I think it was just before half time. The header, it came from a quick corner. I don't think Huddersfield were quite ready.
Great header. I don't think they were set, but it was Bruno who, I think he won the corner. Then he took a quick short corner, a great cross in, and a great header. Yeah. It's a good goal.
He assisted the first goal, really, Bruno, didn't he, for the Huddersfield goal when he kicked it back into the kicked it up into the air, and it went straight into the.
It's a shame about the sending off. I mean, it absolutely changed the game. Yeah. I think the way Huddersfield had been playing, I think they probably got away with a point against a decent Brighton side, but.
Wagner was not very happy after the game.
No, but I don't blame him. I honestly think that's one that if it's your team, you're convinced it's not a sending off.
Yeah.
If it's against your team, it's a definite red. So I absolutely understand why he was a bit annoyed.
Yeah. So the Leicester Watford game. Few things in this one. Again, another probably wonder goal from Maddison. I don't think he's going to score one like that for a while. When the ball gets played into him, I don't think the ball actually touches the floor before he actually puts it into the back of the net. I think I counted 4 touches, and then he hits it on the volley. But a good win for Leicester. I think
I do have a question on that though.
Yeah.
Why is he not suspended? Has he served his suspension from getting sent off last week?
Assuming so.
You know, you got the second yellow for the dive, but when I saw that he scored, I need to have a look at the matches. But I thought, how was he not? Because he got sent off against. Oh, okay. Unless the League Cup is his suspension.
Yeah, the League Cup would have.
Because he got sent. Right, okay. Because he got sent off against Brighton, and then they played Southampton midweek in the EFL Cup, and then he was back. He must have been. I didn't realise the League Cup was the suspension. Okay, as you were, Chris.
But it was a definite penalty as well. I think for Leicester, the first goal as well, because it was all over him.
Yeah, I agree. It was good to see Leicester back to winning ways. I thought it was the way they played and the way they won the game was sort of reminiscent of what they were a couple of years ago. I thought it was good to see them back to winning ways.
Yeah.
Good win.
So the Man City Bournemouth game was up next. Good start from City with the early goal, but I thought overall I didn't think that they played that well. I thought Bournemouth had a few chances that they probably should have put away, really. Obviously, they did get a goal from Wilson from the header. Begovic made a few good saves. But I'm not sure if you were aware of a stat for you here, Rich. I'm not sure if you were aware of this. But Manchester City have scored more home goals than any other club have in total. They've scored more home goals than any other club has.
Premier League club or?
Yep, Premier League, yeah.
Oh dear.
They've scored more at home. That's crazy, isn't it?
And yet you're saying they didn't play that well and still won 3-1.
That's what I mean. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that's what champions do, isn't it? You don't necessarily play well, but you end up, winning the game. But
there's not playing well and scraping a win, and there's not playing well and still sort of dominating a game, scoring 3-1. You could have scored a couple more. I see I think it was the third goal was very 5-a-side from what we spoke about.
It's so good.
A week or so ago. It's just like David Silva with a killer pass, a low cross, 6 yards, and in the back of the net. I can't see anyone stopping them, but I'm sure we'll say the same next week.
I'm pretty sure we'll probably say the same until the end of the season, mate. To be honest with you,
I know they got the 2-1 win against Watford yesterday. By all accounts, that was not the complete performance, but they're still winning. They're just still winning.
Stop that at the weekend.
Is it City Chelsea?
Yeah, it is on Saturday. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Yeah. So Newcastle, West Ham. So after, was it 3 wins in a row for Newcastle? They put on this sort of performance for their fans.
That is just 2 teams who are guaranteed to let you down.
Yeah.
with a performance, you knew one of them wasn't going to play well. I picked Newcastle to win that. I was surprised West Ham won by such a margin, but I think Alan Shearer tweeted out something about it being just like a toothless performance from Newcastle, and
it was bad. It was really bad.
From the bits that I saw, they didn't seem to offer anything at all. They just seemed to be a shambles at the back, and going forward, it wasn't an awful lot better, to be honest.
Fernandes starting a game and scoring a couple of goals. He could have had 3 or 4 goals, to be honest with you. He always used to score against Chelsea, Hernandez. Every time I remember him coming on multiple games against Chelsea and always coming on and scoring. But he can be a handful, I think, when he's at his best. But the thing is now, West Ham, they win 3-0, but they'll probably end up losing, again at the weekend. So,
well, they won last night. They beat Cardiff 3-1, didn't they? So there's 2 wins on the spin for West Ham, but like you say, they'll run into a bit of form, and then they'll go the other way again.
Just seems to be what happens at the moment. Just teams win a few in a row, and then out of nowhere they just lose, and then they can't get a win for another 6 games. It's exactly like Wolves. Yeah.
A good win. I was impressed with that by West Ham. Give him credit where it's due.
Yeah,
he's a good player.
A great signing, I think, for them. I think he will. He will probably end up making a good bit of money, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, I expect someone
will be sniffing around him, I think. Coming
absolutely. Yeah, I think there'll be a few clubs in for him.
So the last game on Saturday was the Southampton Man United game. Now, as a Chelsea fan,
where do you start with this game?
As a Chelsea fan, I always like to see Man United losing, and then I end up messaging people to say, "Oh, you're 2-0 down against Southampton," and then it's 2-0. And I look stupid.
You should never do that.
I know. I got overexcited.
That's why I left my Spurs comments a week or so ago till we were 3-0 up, just to be a bit safer. I watched this game, and I don't understand the game, and what is even more baffling at the moment is Man United and Mourinho, and I think he's seriously close to losing the plot. That you've got Pogba, who is in my opinion, apart from De Gea, is far and away the best player at the club.
But overrated in general.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm going to say it's probably unpopular, but I honestly I don't really see what he does.
I don't. I disagree. If you look at Pogba playing for France, that is what
France,
he was like. That's what he was like. Yeah, absolutely. But that's what he was like at Juventus.
There's a goal. Burnley have taken the lead against Liverpool.
Oh, so there's us. Come on, Burnley.
There's a shock there. Look.
Come on, that's good for us. Come on, Burnley. Anyway, Pogba, I think he is a world class player. You only have to see what he was like at the World Cup and what he played
why can't he
for
like
Juventus to know. But that's the question.
Is this?
But you think when he signed for United would not have paid? Well, I don't know, but United would not have paid 90 odd million for him if he wasn't if he wasn't that good.
Do you think Alex Ferguson would have paid £90 million for him? I seriously don't think he would have.
No, probably not. But I think there's an element of he's the one who sold him, and Ferguson never sort of went back, did he? So I think that there may be a bit of pride there. I don't know. But for Mourinho to then say that he's a virus within the team, I'm not sure if he was quoted as saying that, but it just absolutely baffles me. And I know, so United half-time tonight, so they're 1-1 against Arsenal after being 1-0 down. But I can't get my head around United at the moment. I mean, I take absolute joy in mocking my friends who are Man United fans. It's about time we had that luxury of doing it. But even at 2-0 down, I still fancied United to come on and win it.
As soon as they got the goal, you just almost felt like it was going to happen.
Obviously, we'll go back to the Saints game, but tonight Pogba's on the bench and Lukaku's on the bench, and I even saw something online today where one bookmaker is taking bets on Lukaku to have a shot. Oh, Wolves have just equalised, Chris. Wolves 1, Chelsea 1. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone quiet over there. Anyway, so the bookmaker is offering bets on Lukaku to have a shot that goes out for a throw-in.
I saw there was loads of them. There's quite a few bets.
But when was the last time a bookmaker would do stuff like that about Man United players? But from the Southampton perspective, because I've heard a lot of different views about this. A lot of people are saying like it's points dropped for Saints or points dropped for United. I think from a Southampton point of view, if you're 2-0 up and it goes back to 2-2 at half time, I'm not sure it's... If it had gone back to 2-2 in the last 10-15 minutes, I probably would have said it was 3 points dropped for Saints.
Yeah.
But they went 2-0 up so early that I don't think United coming back to 2-2 was that much of a surprise. No, it's just two teams that just don't seem to want to win a match or know how to win a match at the moment. Just a strange game. And then obviously it led to Mark Hughes' departure.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I should have written it down, but the amount of points that they've dropped from winning positions since Mark Hughes has been in charge, I think it was quite a big number. It was in the 20s. It was like 20 odd points that they've been when they've been leading.
I can't remember Saints. I can't remember the last time Saints were leading a football match, apart from Fulham.
Also, Man United lost this game because of the midfield. They gave the ball away so easily in midfield. Numerous occasions that just passes going astray. I don't think the players have got confidence in the manager, if I'm honest. I don't think that they're playing for him, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know.
I agree with you, and I'm convinced. I know we were talking before we started recording, so I'm convinced he will not leave. I think he will go when he's sacked.
What's the money? It's the money side of it.
Yeah,
for him, isn't it?
And where he goes after this, I've no idea. But Man United do not sit ninth in the Premier League, sort of a quarter of the way through the season. It just doesn't happen.
No,
I don't know what's going on. But at the same time, I take great joy in the fact that they are ninth in the league.
I think a lot of people will be in the same boat as you there, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we move on.
Move on to Sunday's games. We'll start with the Chelsea Fulham game, which was early kickoff for a Sunday. It was midday. From a Chelsea point of view, it was pretty straightforward. To be honest with you, it was a great game for Chelsea. It's just what we needed. Actually, we needed to play a team like Fulham just to get a bit more confidence in front of goal.
How did that work for Morata? His confidence in front of goal.
Yeah,
I'll give you my view on this, Chris. I think that Fulham in the first half were just made far too many errors. And I think at half time, I mean, Ranieri said it after the match that, well, he said the same thing, and he changed the formation at half time. I think the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, I thought Fulham had a few good chances, to be honest. The Chelsea keeper made some good saves. Yeah. But the second goal kind of killed it off. I thought it was fairly routine. I agree with you. After the Spurs game, I think it was probably a good team for Chelsea to play. I don't think it sort of stretched them too much. I thought Hazard looked pretty sharp coming back. Oh, Liverpool have just equalised 1-1, and Wolves 2-1. Chris,
seen that as well.
Oh, I love live updates when Chelsea go behind. Anyway, we were just saying it was just the game that Chelsea needed.
No, it's not.
No, but we need to focus on that. So, yeah, but I just want to get your thoughts on Morata when 6 yards out, he's still managed to put the ball in the top stand.
He's just got no confidence, mate. He's gone down the same route as Torres, to be honest with you, hasn't he? He's just, I don't know what it is. He just looks so angry. Whenever I see him on the pitch, he always looks angry. But to be honest with you, come January, I think Sarri's going to probably want to bring in a striker. What that means for the other two, I don't particularly know. But
I don't know who you get though. I know we've said this before. I do not know who you go out in January and get that's going to replace him. I don't think he's cut out for the Premier League. He had
a pretty decent striker like 2 seasons ago, but he fell out with the manager and left. So,
but really, I don't know who you're going to. I don't know who you're going to go out and get in January that's going to lead the line for Chelsea. That's going to. Yeah. If you're talking that sort of money.
To be honest with you, at the moment, I've said that I would start Pedro over Willian. Just because I think Pedro, he brings a bit more to the game at the moment. He seems to score a few more as well, but he's done the complete opposite tonight and started Willian. So that's obviously
that's going well. It's going well for him.
To be honest with you, ever since we started recording this podcast, it's all gone a bit downhill. So
it has.
But at
Spurs,
the weekend,
Spurs have scored 2-0 to Spurs.
Weekend they did well. Tonight, still 25 minutes to go, but not looking.
Well, no, it's
good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's the reverse for Tottenham. A terrible game on Sunday, but they're back on it tonight.
I'm going to let you talk about the Tottenham game, so I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I think so. As a football fan, I don't have any problem at all in saying that Arsenal deserve to win. I think they played really well. I thought the second half they dominated the game. I think that they almost did to Spurs what Spurs did to Chelsea. I think they sort of hurried. They played a high press. They attacked. There was a lot of intensity in their game. A definite penalty for Vertonghen's handball for Arsenal's first goal. I don't condone at all what happened with what was thrown on the pitch when he was celebrating. I just think there's no place for that in football at all, and I hope it just.
Well, they found out who it was, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, whatever story is given by him, that's fine. I just hope that it doesn't sort of tar all Spurs fans with the same brush, because that's not the case at all. But yeah, absolutely don't agree with that at all. I think there's no place for that in football. I think that the equaliser, I think for Eric Dyer's header, Leno should have saved it. I don't think there's any debate about that. I think it was an absolute howler from him. And then I know it all kicked off a bit after that celebration, but I just think that's the passion in it. I don't think that
it was hard to say
that you can criticise.
Actually...
I mean, I think that the thing that I didn't say about the Aubameyang penalty is he not that it's an excuse, because it's not at all, but he runs directly to the Spurs fans to celebrate.
Yeah.
Which I kind of don't blame him for. There's a lot of there's an atmosphere. There's a lot riding on the game, so I don't really blame him for that. But at the same time, I don't blame Eric Dyer for celebrating the way he did.
But it was hard. It was hard to see what actually happened, wasn't it? I know it was between Ali. It seems to be Ali and Ramsey.
I don't think it was Dyer. I think it's just because obviously that's where the Arsenal substitutes were warming up in that area. Obviously, pretty much the whole of the Spurs team ran to that area, and I just think it was waiting to happen. But I don't think Spurs' penalty was a penalty, which may surprise. I don't think it was. I think it was pretty soft.
Yeah.
So it's all right saying that in hindsight after they lost, but yeah, I don't think it was a penalty. And then the second half, I think Arsenal just stepped it up a bit. Aubameyang's equaliser, I think the ball was midway in the Arsenal half, and the ball was touched 3 times, and it was in the back of the net. It was there's no denying it was a great goal.
Scored again, mate.
How have they?
Yeah, 3-0.
Of course they have, as I'm berating them about Sunday. But yeah. That was a great goal from Aubameyang. And then Lacazette's goal, I mean, Eric Dyer does exactly what we were criticising David Luiz for doing the week before. He turns his back on it. And then the third goal, the fourth goal, was a good goal. And then I can't really argue with Vertonghen sending off. So my view of the game, even being an avid Spurs fan, is what you read and what you see is what you got. Arsenal deserve to win it. It's as simple as that.
There you go. I just wanted to hear that from you.
I've got no issue.
I'm not going to say anything on the game.
I've got no issue in if Spurs lose to the better team, I've got no issue in admitting that at all. Arsenal were the better team.
You're most likely not going to lose tonight, though.
Well, I hope not. I just thought I had 4-0 Spurs in the prediction, so I'm not far off. And I think I had United and Arsenal 1-1. Anyway, but we'll talk about that later. So Merseyside derby.
Liverpool have just scored.
Oh wow! Chelsea are going to fall further behind. Okay, so yeah, talking of Liverpool.
Derby, not really. Like for a Merseyside derby, it didn't really. I wouldn't say there was a whole lot of passion in the game, other than what happened at the end. Really, the goal itself. I really don't know what Pickford was doing. I think he could have just left it, and I think it would have gone out, or even hit the top of the bar and gone out itself. But
I think he could have left it. I honestly think he could have left it, and it would have just gone out for a goal kick.
But I just, there wasn't really a lot in the game, to be honest with you. I thought Everton had probably played quite well up until then, but it's just one of those. I think huge mistake, and it probably couldn't have come at a worse game throughout the whole season for an Everton fan either.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give credit where it's due to Everton, because I know that I said in the past that I find them quite sort of dull, almost a bit vanilla-like. I thought they played really, really well. I thought I'd say the first hour, both teams had pretty good chances that they didn't take. I mean, Everton had a header from, is it Lamina, I think, which he probably should have scored. Firmino should have scored. Pickford made a good save from Shaqiri. Alisson made some good saves, and I actually thought Everton were in the game right until the end.
They were.
Until that happens, and I don't get it. That he could have just tipped it over the bar. I'm pretty sure he could have left it, and then he just decides to almost pull it back into play. And then, I mean, I could have scored that. So, but
I didn't even know Origi was still at Liverpool. I told you this yesterday when I saw you. I didn't even know he was still there. But you know, and obviously
I don't know. You've got to be
the pitch after obviously after the goal.
I know you shouldn't. I know you shouldn't do it.
But
do you blame him?
I would do it. You know, but yeah, a bit lucky to be honest with you. But you know, Liverpool are winning a lot of games at the moment. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, and that's all they've got to do, to be honest.
Leicester just equalised against Fulham.
Oh, have they?
It's 1-0 now, yeah.
Well, we'll see how that one pans out. Won't be a bad point.
The weekend review of the Premier League games. We are going to go into the Championship review now with Rich.
Yeah, so in the Championship, Norwich remain a point clear at the top after their fourth win in the last 5 matches. They went 1-0 down to Rotherham at home, but came back to win 3-1. So Norwich still in great form. Leeds are in second. They beat Sheffield United 1-0 away, which again is a great win for Leeds. So they're up to second. West Brom are in third. They drew 1-1 at home against Brentford on Monday night. And they go above Middlesbrough, who are in fourth on goal difference, but they lost 3-0 at home to Villa, which a great win for Villa. They've been putting goals in for fun lately. So they're up to 8th.
John Terry affair.
Well, absolutely. Even when they drew 5-5, he's obviously putting his defensive prowess.
Yes, the defending.
Yeah, absolutely. Well. Yeah, but Villa are unbeaten in the last 5 now. Like I say, they're up to 8th, so they're still there or thereabouts. Surprise team for me, Nottingham Forest are now 5th, switched 2-0 at home. So Forest are now also unbeaten in their last 5. Sheffield United make up the final playoff place in 6th. But as we said, they went down 1-0 at home to Leeds. Same teams at the bottom, really. So none of the bottom 3 won. Bottom club Ipswich, as we said, they lost 2-0. Forest did pick up at home to 15th place Wigan in a 1-1 draw. And Millwall make up the relegation places in 22nd, and they got a 1-1 draw away to Bristol City, which was a good game. Good point, sorry, and that was the game on Sunday in the Championship.
Oh.
Pretty much the same in the Championship.
No real big changes.
No, not really. The top teams keep winning, the bottom teams keep losing.
Right, so obviously no League One or League Two at the weekend. So I'm going to do a review of the FA Cup games. So the second round kicked off on Friday night with Solihull Moors getting a great draw at home to Blackpool. Solihull will have a great incentive now, obviously, if they win the replay. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Saturday, the 2 Welsh sides met, Wrexham versus Newport. I actually watched this game because it was on BT Sport after the game, the Southampton Man United game. It was actually a really good game for a 0-0, but it was Wrexham did dominate throughout the game, I thought, and they were quite unlucky at stages as well. Barnsley defeated Southend 4-2. That was the highest scoring game on Saturday. Bradford came from 2 down against Peterborough to score twice in the last 5 minutes to earn a replay. Sunderland could only get a draw away to Walsall, and non-league Maidstone lost to Oldham. So that's their hopes of the third round gone. And there were also wins for Wimbledon, Accrington Stanley, Doncaster, Lincoln and Oxford. And then on Sunday, that probably saw the biggest upset of the weekend, I would say, where Woking beat Swindon by a goal to 0. Southport came from behind to draw against Tranmere in the second Merseyside game of the day. Portsmouth scored a 90th minute winner against Rochdale to go through to the next round. Non-league Slough lost at home to Gillingham by a goal to 0. And there were also wins for Barnet, Luton, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. And on Monday night, so after the draw was made, Guiseley took on Fleetwood, and Joey Barton's Fleetwood won by 2 goals to 1. So that was the FA Cup. Not too many
good
shocks,
roundup,
but
Chris.
Woking getting through, obviously probably the biggest one, I would say. But yeah,
you always want a couple of non-league sides in the third round.
Yeah,
it's what makes the
I
cup
think
what it is.
When we come on to the special topic in a minute, I think some of those non-league clubs are going to be very happy with potentially their games in the third round.
Yeah, I agree.
So that is it for this part 1. And in part 2, like Rich said earlier, our special topic is we're going to discuss some of the games that were drawn in the FA Cup third round on Monday night. We've also got a bit on predictions and what's happening next week. So we will see you in part 2.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of View from the Sideline podcast, where we're going to go through our special topic now, which is a summary of the main matches to come out of the third round draw for the FA Cup on Monday. I don't know about you, Chris, but I think the third round draw is the one that sort of gives you the most excitement, because it's when the Premier League and Championship sides come into it, and if you can get a few non-league clubs through, it always makes for an interesting draw. But I think it's difficult to pick out sort of one or two specific ties from it. I think. Well, I suppose the obvious ones are the Tranmere or Southport v Spurs and Solihull or Blackpool v Arsenal. I think there's now an awful lot of pressure on those replays.
Well, yeah, like the
which sometimes I think work. Yeah, but sometimes I think that works against you. Even like Wrexham or Newport, so they've got a home tie against Leicester.
Yeah.
The chairman of, I think he might have been from Lincoln, or one of the board members from Lincoln, and their cup run, I think it must have been last year. It paid for their training facilities, their academy facilities.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Because they made that much money from it. Yeah, it's mental. It's mental, but it's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think the most pleasing thing from the draw is that the lower league teams all pretty much got a game at home against one of the Premier League clubs. That's obviously if they get through, but I think it's quite a good incentive for them to go out now and to obviously win the game. Like obviously Solihull, if they were to beat Blackpool, a game against Arsenal for them, that probably keeps the club going for a couple of years. You think the money that they'll get, because they're bound to be on TV. The Tottenham one will be on TV. The Arsenal game will be on TV. The Leicester one will be on TV. I think those three are very much likely to be the ones that are chosen.
Greatest of respect to either Tranmere or Southport, even if Spurs put what you would class from a Premier League level to be a second string side out, it would still be, well, it should still be enough to win that tie.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he played people like Ericsson and Kane and Dele Alli and people like that. I wouldn't have thought that Pochettino would go that far, but I do believe that it deserves a certain level of respect.
Definitely,
the opposition and the tournament. I think it would be a bit of a kick in the teeth if Spurs took their under-21 side down there or something, which I doubt they would do. I mean, Arsenal under Arsene Wenger were always historically they would put a weakened side out, but they're a top 6 Premier League club. Their weakened side it's still a pretty good team, to be honest. So
yeah.
I don't think the fans or the TV audiences would be disappointed. I mean,
just quickly, mate. Arsenal have scored against Man United. It's 2-1 now.
No. Oh.
Yeah. Carry on.
I've literally got nothing to say about Man United anymore. I'm afraid. But no. So to move away from just from the Spurs and Arsenal game. So just to pick a few that stand out for me. So I think Bournemouth-Brighton's quite an interesting tie.
It was one of 2 all Premier League ties, wasn't it?
Yeah, both going well in the league, sort of South Coast derby. I thought Palace Grimsby
that'd be a good game.
was a good tie. Yep. Everton Lincoln was a good one, good draw for Lincoln. Yeah, absolutely. Man City and Rotherham, and then Man United and Reading, I thought were quite interesting because both of those will.
Reading will probably fancy getting.
Absolutely.
I thought what about Derby Southampton game? I think that'll be quite an interesting game.
Absolutely, because I think that's quite an evenly matched game. So the 3 main ones for me.
Mate.
Have they? Stop interrupting me, Chris. I'm trying to.
What's going on?
Or stop scoring goals at Old Trafford. Anyway, so the three sort of most evenly matched draws for me was Derby Southampton. Then I thought Newcastle Blackburn was it's been dubbed the Alan Shearer derby.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
But I think that would be a good game. And Norwich Portsmouth as well. So Norwich top of the Championship and Portsmouth top of League One.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good one. West Ham Birmingham's interesting as well, obviously with David Gold and David Sullivan.
Must be weird going back to a club that you owned, didn't it? I suppose it must be always a bit. Well,
yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I think it's quite interesting. I'm not sure how interesting that one is from a football point of view, but from
it might be a bit,
Yeah, and then obviously Liverpool have got a massively tricky tie now against Wolves.
Because Wolves are a really good side. I think I might mention that a couple of times.
Yeah, and they're winning tonight as well. So, so yeah, there's a lot of good ties in there. I think.
Do you think
a lot of Premier League clubs that will progress? I think there's a lot of teams in the Premier League that will go through.
Because there's normally more than 2 all Premier League ties, isn't there? Sometimes I just think
Yeah. So who is it? So it's Bournemouth Brighton, and who's the other one?
Wolves Liverpool is the other.
Wolves Liverpool. Yeah, sorry, literally the one I just said.
But do you think teams? So say if guys because obviously the draw was made before the Guiseley Fleetwood game. So Guiseley, so at the time it was drawn as Guiseley or Fleetwood versus Wimbledon.
Mm-hmm.
From a Guiseley point of view, do you think that they would have, if they had got through, they would have hoped for a Championship or Premier League opposition rather than
absolutely
in a league above them?
Yeah, I absolutely.
Or can you not be picky in this sort of?
Well, so there's 2 ways to look at it. So absolutely, yes, 100%. I think any lower league side is going to want. I think even teams in League 2 are going to want a big Premier League club.
Yeah.
Do I think it affected their performance or their desire to win that game? No, not at all. I would have
said no, yeah.
But because a cup run is a cup run, because you're still in the hat, you've still got that opportunity to get a bigger team in a later round if you can get that far. But also at the same time, even whatever round you get in, it's creating revenue for the club, and it's creating interest. I mean, if you're a non-league side, even if you're getting a league club, whether it's League 1 or League 2, they're still a professional league club, so it's going to attract interest. So I don't think it would affect their performance. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think every team outside probably the Championship, really, any league. I mean, Portsmouth probably would have loved to have gone to Anfield or to Wembley to play Spurs, or to Stamford Bridge to beat Chelsea, because they would have done.
Oh, hang on.
So I didn't know if you'd noticed I said to beat Chelsea, but yeah, I think
I
did
hear you. Yeah, I'm not deaf. The other, I don't think we mentioned. So Woking have got a home game against Watford as well, which for them, I think will is a really good tie. I think any non-league side that can get a home draw against Premier League side, it probably. I think dollar signs probably goes into their eyes when they
absolutely
see it. One thing I was going to say,
I just
carry on, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I do wonder wwhether the Tranmere Southport, whether they were hoping the fixture would be flipped. So obviously they go to Wembley. I think that's the thing with Spurs at the moment, playing at, because assuming the stadium is finished, and well, assuming it's not finished by the first week in January when the FA Cup games are, it would probably be the only chance for them to play at Wembley, if you know what I mean. Because it probably will be at Wembley. I doubt. Well, I don't think the stadium would be ready by the time when the match takes place. If the draw was flipped, it might have been a little bit. But well, yeah, absolutely. Who knows?
With your stadium, mate?
Well, it looks finished.
I was going to say, do you get a bit nervous when they put the balls into the machine when they're doing the draw that they've left one in there? If I was them doing it, I'd be sweating, thinking, "Oh God, if I've left one in there, I'm going to look like an idiot." And do they do a redraw? Do they do redraw?
I don't know. They always do a practice draw. They do always do a practice draw. The one thing that makes me nervous for the first round of the FA, well, the third round of the FA Cup, but the first round that if you support a Premier League or Championship team, the first round that your team's in it, is you never want to get one of the other big boys. While Spurs. Yeah, absolutely. I was quite relieved that Spurs came out earlier on and they got the draw they did, because obviously Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, both Manchester clubs were still in the draw at that time. We were
pretty much drawn, literally, wasn't it like a couple games in between each other, I think yours came out and then I think two later.
I think we were fourth or fifth, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty early on.
Yeah.
And then obviously everyone was still in it. So
you can get towards the end, isn't it? And you see, if you look to your left and you see Liverpool, Man City in there, you're like, oh God. Praying that their number didn't come out.
But to be honest, if you get to the quarter-final, semi-final stage, you almost automatically know that you're. Anyway. Yeah, absolutely. And if you've got that far, you've kind of got nothing to lose. But I think overall, I think it was a good draw. I think there's, like I say, I think there's probably a dozen or so games that really are going to be good games. They're going to be tight, close games.
And I really do like watching the non-league clubs as well play Premier League clubs, because it's unlikely to happen that they'll win, but just the shadow of just the thought of them, like I'll take Tottenham for example. Probably won't happen, but if they play Southport, it's 0-0, 80 minutes. You never know with the FA Cup, do you? You just never know.
Well, no, it's like Spurs last year with Rochdale.
Yeah.
When Rochdale got an equaliser and it went back to Wembley, but I don't. You can't beat a third round tie when your team's away to sort of a lower league. Oh, Liverpool have just got 3-1 Liverpool.
Because I think I put 3-1 on predictions for that one.
Oh. Did you? I've lost my flow now.
Sorry.
You didn't, Chris. You put 0. You put 0-2. I put 3-1 Liverpool. So it's good news for me. Oh. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had 3-1 Liverpool. No, there's nothing better than sort of, especially when it's on BBC. Football on the BBC is the best. And then the like the Gary Lineker and that are in a porter cabin somewhere on the corner of the ground that's been made specifically for that that television broadcast. And yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's anything like it. And who would? I think even as a fan of that team, you wouldn't begrudge them a replay. If Spurs came away with a draw, I wouldn't be that upset, because it's good for the cup, it's good for the competition, it's good for football.
Good for the
they can absolutely hammer them in the replay and go through, but I don't think there's any shame in it. No. It's what it's all about.
I would say it's the best cup competition domestically in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Okay.
Oh yeah. Onwards and upwards.
Quick summary there. Yeah, absolutely. Quick summary there. So we'll just give a quick update on predictions. Like I said, we have got one running at the moment. Hence the distraction, because I'm desperate to win this week, because I had an awful week last week. Last week we had Dave as the special guest predictor, who got 15 points, along with Chris. So joint top for both of them. Unfortunately, I came a lowly. Yeah, 5. The only one I got was Oldham to beat Maidstone, which I don't think there was much skill in that, to be honest. So we've got Alan this week. So for the matches, midweek matches, so a special one this week. And Alan is who, Chris?
He's my dad.
He's your dad?
He is, yeah.
And he has also gone for a Chelsea win tonight. Yeah,
obviously, yeah.
So your scores are uncannily similar. So
it was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And I've kind of gone a bit more down the middle. So obviously within the next 10-15 minutes we should have the results for those predictions, so we'll get them posted over the next couple of day or so. Jamie's still top. Obviously a score of 15 or 5 isn't really going to challenge him. So final whistle's just gone, Chris. Wolves 2, Chelsea 1.
We don't need to.
If you want, we can dissect that game on this week's episode.
No, I just want to go and cry into my pillow right now.
Okay, we'll move on. Yeah, so that's a quick summary of predictions. Teaser, Chris. Let's cheer you up a bit.
Well, the thing, because I think they actually said this when the third round draw was being made, just before.
Very observant of you. Very observant.
So the answer is Ruud Gullit.
That is correct. Yeah. That is correct. In 1997, and I believe they beat Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Middlesbrough 2-0.
The famous Di Matteo goal after 30 seconds. Yeah.
So that was the first trophy that you bought. The first trophy Chelsea bought. Is that right?
No. No, it was not. That was pre-Abramovich.
Was it really?
Yeah, because Abramovich 2002. 2003.
Oh, okay. My apologies. My apologies.
We didn't buy trophies anyway. We just lost the Wolves, for crying out loud. We didn't buy that result, did we?
We need to invest.
And the worst thing is, just quickly, before the Wolves game, I said, if we win tonight, it ain't going to matter on Saturday against Man City. If we lose, I'd be happy with 3 points out of those 2 games. Wow. Puts the pressure on.
It matters now, mate. It matters now. Just to give you a summary of tonight's Premier League games. So Liverpool have won 3-1 away at Burnley. Newcastle and Everton has finished 1-1. Fulham and Leicester has finished 1-1. James Maddison got an equaliser there for Leicester. Wolves have beaten Chelsea 2-1 after being 1-0 down. There's probably just under 10 minutes left in the other 2 games. So it's currently Man United 2, Arsenal 2. And Spurs are 3-0 up against Southampton. So as we stand, Spurs are back up to third after their blip at the weekend. But yeah, like I say, still probably just under 10 minutes to go in those ones. So well done on the teaser, Chris.
Yeah.
I feel like I've cheered you up slightly, made your evening just a little bit more bearable.
No.
So you're welcome. You're welcome for that. If anything, it's putting you back to the glory days of '97 when you won the FA Cup.
Yeah, all right. It made me think of that a little bit.
So just quickly from me, coming up next week. So we'll have all the normal features. So we'll have the Premier League review, EFL review, teaser, predictions, etc. But as mentioned, we will have 2 predictions updates. And Chris, do you want to tell the listeners what our special topic is next week?
So
quite looking forward to this one.
Next week's special topic is obviously as Christmas is fast approaching. A lot of people go out their way to buy some hideous Christmas jumpers. So just made us think that could we do something around that. So next week the special topic is we're going to go through some of our best and worst football kits that we have ever seen, and there was quite a few of them. So yeah, I'm going to go through that.
We'll have to we'll get some pictures up of the ones that we've chosen, and we'll put them online so you can
have a look.
You'll be able to know which ones we're talking about. So yeah, actually, Chris, just going back to Spurs, I've got an interesting stat for you, which I didn't tell you at the time when we were talking about them. Do you know Spurs are the only team in the Premier League not to have drawn a game this year?
I didn't know that.
This season.
Not that bothered, to be honest.
So they've either won or lost. They haven't drawn a game. Interesting. I thought it was a good fact. I feel like we've kind of ended the podcast on a high now after that stat that I just gave you. But yeah, that's it from me, Chris. You got anything else you want to
add? No, nothing really. But yeah, this will be going out shortly. But yeah, thank you for listening, and for the continued support of the podcast. But yeah, that is it from me. So I will speak to you next week.
I'm just going to say, just as a last sign off, anyone listening to this will notice how Chris's voice and demeanour has sort of gone down throughout this episode.
Anywhere
the result tonight's match unravelled.
Yeah. So from half an hour ago, if there was a graph, it would slowly progressively going down.
Yeah.
And it's the same as my mood right now as well.
And rest assured, he will cry himself to sleep tonight.
Because by the time we do the next podcast, we could have lost again, and that's highly likely at the way we're playing at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if Arsenal were to better your result, you're out the top 4. Okay, yeah. Speak to you all next week. Bye-bye.